Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a really fascinating trip back in time, southern India, around 1912.
That's right. We're digging into Edgar Thurston's ethnographic survey, Omens and Superstitions of Southern India. It's quite the work.
It really is. And our mission today basically is to give you a quick download, a shortcut really, into how people back then used omens to, well, navigate life.
Yeah, it's like opening a window onto a mindset where almost everything, every little twitch, every sound could hold some kind of meaning about the future.
It wasn't just abstract stuff either, was it? It was deeply practical.
Exactly. It was like their operating system for, daily decisions, big things like marriage, small things, farming, everything.
Okay, so let's get into it. Thurston starts with the body itself, right? Like involuntary movements predicting things.
Ancient beliefs. He gives examples like King Dushanta's arm throbbing.
That was a good sign, wasn't it, for marriage?
Yes. And then Sakuntala's right eye throbbing, that was seen as an evil omen, something you had to, counteract.
So their bodies were literally giving them hints, warnings.
Whispering secrets, you could say. And this wasn't just for humans, it extended to animals, especially in rituals.
Ah, the sacrifices. I remember reading about the shivering ram or goat.
Right. That shiver was a good omen. It meant the deity accepted the offering.
Okay, makes sense.
But here's the really interesting bit, the pragmatism. If the animal didn't shiver.
Uh-oh, bad sign. Need another animal.
Exactly, which costs money. So Thurston notes sometimes people would just keep pouring water on the animal over and over.
Wait, seriously? To make it shiver?
Yep, until it did. Just to avoid having to get a second victim. It's this fascinating mix of belief and, well, economics.
Wow. Coercing a good omen to save a few rupees. That's something. Okay, so that's individual moments. What about bigger things like starting the year right?
Oh yeah, beginnings were crucial. Thurston describes this really elaborate Malabar New Year ritual, the Kani.
The one with the arranged vessel.
That's it. Families would carefully arrange auspicious items, gold, a palmyra leaf book, new cloth, flowers, fruit.
And then?
Then family members, starting with the head of the household, would be blindfolded and led to see it first thing in the morning. Your first sight sets the tone for the whole year.
Ensuring a prosperous start, quite literally. And speaking of auspicious starts, some of the omens for journeys were surprising.
Weren't they just? You had the expected ones, like meeting a married woman or seeing fruit, good signs.
But then there were others, like meeting a corpse or a prostitute.
Exactly. Or even two fish. Considered good omens for starting a trip. It really challenges our modern ideas of what's lucky or unlucky. Context is everything.
Definitely shifts perspective. Okay, another thing that struck me was the importance of hair marks on animals. Sudi or suli?
Yes, on horses and oxen especially. These weren't just patterns. They were believed to dictate the owner's fate. Huge significance.
How could a swirl of hair hold so much power?
Well, it's about reading the signs. Deep belief in connection. Thurston gives specific examples like the Padai Suli, the beer circlet on the back.
Beer circlet. That sounds ominous.
It was. Foretold death for the owner. But then you had the Kiratasuli, the crown circlet, maybe on the hump.
And that meant?
Prosperity. Good fortune. There's even that proverb he quotes, something like,
a man may face a rifle and escape.
but he cannot avoid the luck, good or evil, foretold by hair marks. Yeah, that's the one. Shows how inescapable they thought this fate was.
So what did people do if their prized ox had a beer circlet?
Sometimes they'd actually brand the animal right over the unlucky mark, trying to erase it or maybe change its meaning, trying to rewrite fate.
Incredible. And it wasn't just visual signs, right? Words themselves had power.
Oh, absolutely. Linguistic taboos. Like in Telugu, avoiding the number 7.
Why 7?
Because the word yedu sounds exactly like the word for weeping.
Ah, okay. So you just wouldn't say it.
You'd find a workaround, like saying 6 and 1 instead. Same in Tamil with the number 10, apparently associated with widowhood rituals.
So language wasn't neutral. It carried real weight, real potential for misfortune.
Precisely. And this idea of purity and cleansing, that took surprising forms too. Thurston describes a ritual with the Telugu Madiga community.
Right, the woman called Matangi.
Yes, named after a goddess. Now, this community was often considered unclean by others, but in this ritual, Matangi held immense power.
What did she do?
She would spit upon people and touch them with a special stick.
And this was desirable.
Yes. It was believed to purge all uncleanliness of body and soul. People invited her to do it, even those who might normally look down on her community. A real inversion of social norms for spiritual cleansing.
That's quite powerful. So looking back at all of this, the body signs, the rituals, the animal marks, the words, it's such a complex system.
It is an incredibly intricate way people in southern India at that time created a framework for understanding, well, everything, life's uncertainties.
It provided a sense of order, maybe? Control, even if illusory sometimes?
I think so, a way to navigate the world. And, wrapping this up, it makes you think, how much of that impulse is still with us? Even today, in our supposedly rational world, don't we all have our own little omens? Things we see as good signs, bad signs, little superstitions we follow.
That's a great point. Maybe knocking on wood or avoiding walking under ladders.
Yeah.
It's that same human desire, isn't it? To find patterns, to feel like we have some handle on the unknown.
Exactly. So the question for you listening is, what are your unconscious omens? What subtle beliefs guide your day-to-day? Maybe more than you realize. Something to think about.